back to TSS, Theological Sermons and Sales. My name is Timothy Pecker, and of course I'm joined by Rebecca Pussywillow, who is modeling our penis blocker that we were selling before the last commercial break.
Well, hi, Tim. I can just follow your voice.
Just follow my voice, Rebecca.
Okay.
Closer, closer.
Okay. Hi, folks.
Rebecca, did you see any penises on the way in here?
No penises. No penises whatsoever, Timothy. And thank the Lord for the penis blocker. Timothy, I have so many at home. I think you should have this one. You can also not see penises if you want to.
Well, especially later at night when I need to go to the restroom, I don't want to have to look at my own sin. So this will be great for those moments.
Yes.
And let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, the book Manliness and Civilization by Gail Bitterman.
I think it's pronounced Betterman, and I think it's because she knew how to get a better man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what an incredible product the penis blocker is. And Rebecca, I've heard through the grapevine that we've got a new product coming up. Would you care to tell us what it is?
I would love to, Timothy. I have a chart for you, Timothy, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to show you, when you're being a civilized man in society, that is going to be more respected, more lucrative, if I could even be so bold.
Do you need water first?
No.
Okay.
Rebecca does not need water.
Well, like I said, Timothy, I am just so blessed by the Lord to be showing you these products. Yes, I am. Now, we can't stress this enough that this is a prototype because we have already sold so many. This is the more revised edition that is going to capture a lot more information, folks, about how civilized is your manhood. Trademarked. And so over here, if you notice on this chart, unmanly, non-white, uncivilized, individuals, men, basically, men, trying to be men, and so on, all the way over here to manly. That's right, Timothy. We are so excited. I just want to remind you, folks, if you're already enchanted by this chart, all you have to do is call the number 1-800-TSS. Now, as I was saying, for those of you that need a little bit more information before you pick up that phone and dial 1-800-TSS, over here, if you are openly liking cats, willingly eating salads, reading for fun, well, I'm afraid you're unmanly, uncivilized. Maybe you're not even white. And again, man, if you want to get to manliness over here with Gus, you've got to get through all of these obstacles. Now, it does get a little bit easier once you get more into the manly side of the spectrum. Again, that's a word I'm using for you liberal folks out there. Over here, we have goes to therapy. Now, we're not hitting on therapy. We just know that that's where the feminists got the men, okay? We're not going to discourage anybody from emotions or intelligence, but when they're this close to things like equality and leopards, well, that's just not the right kind of emotions you want to be having. And now, Tim, we'll just move right along here. Bravery. I just picked, a caveman here just because they were the brave ones. But we really don't believe in cavemen because the Lord, there's already told us in the Bible that the earth is 4,000 years old, and I don't need to be telling you that. Also, this remote control, I totally skipped over that one. That is, we like men to be in control. We don't need passive men. Again, another word for you liberals out there. We really believe you can come right on over to our side with this chart here. Must attend Sunday service. That could be anywhere from 1 to 7 days a week. We really don't have a limit on how many times you can come to the house of the Lord, guys. And then we've got the cross over here to remind you every day who's in charge.
Well, Rebecca, that was such a wonderful product that you have pitched to us. And it really helps me feel like I understand where I am as a man now. And this can be yours for 6 easy payments of $29.95. What a bargain, Rebecca.
What a bargain. I just feel like we needed a chart. We needed something handy. We needed something to go in our pockets. We can pull it out whenever we want to, know if we have our manhood, if you know what I mean.
Speaking of, we'll be right back after these commercials.
I am just so excited about the new products, ladies and gents, that Timothy has to introduce us. So, Timothy, you just take it away now, hon.
Thanks, Rebecca. Now I'd like to show you our newest product, the Darwinian chain of evolution. Of course, as we all know, Charles Darwin believed that humans evolved from, I believe that's some sort of primate? And during the course of this evolution, of course, they went from primate into a bunch of other stuff that I don't know the names of, all the way up to human, which of course was perfected with the white Christian male. Did the art department just stop trying it with my products? Like, yours were way better. Of course, we're going to be featuring different heroes of white Christianity, including Theodore Roosevelt, former president. There's never been a bad president, as long as they were Republican, that is. Ha ha! Then, of course, actor John Wayne, who was famous for shooting people in movies. And then Kenneth Copeland. You know what? We're not going to touch that one. So, of course, when we think of the concept of manliness and civilization, the white man is the apex of all civilization. And everybody else? Barbarians. Neanderthals. Savages. These are all words that you can use for your friends as you convince them to become Christians. And you may be asking yourself, when it comes to civilization and evolution, are men and women the same in that regard? Absolutely not. There are certain types of men who are civilized and certain types of women who are civilized, as long as they stick to their lanes. That's why this pairs so beautifully with the product that Rebecca was sharing with us earlier. Still available for 6 payments of $29.99. And of course, when we're talking about things like John Wayne, we have to recognize white supremacy as a part of Christianity. Because when God was creating man, God thought to himself, the pinnacle of man is going to be the white man. That's why there have been so many wonderful white presidents back to back to back. Of course, ignoring everything that happened between the years 2008 and 2016. Now let's take a moment to retread the idea of Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore was, of course, a fan of eugenics, which means that he believed that white people should be the dominant species. And the only way to be the dominant species was to outbreed and outfight their enemies, which is feels a little strange because, statistically, the newspapers always tell me that white Christian men are not the most violent, and they're not the most promiscuous. So it wouldn't make sense that you would be taught to outfight and outbreed your enemies when you're supposed to be less violent and less sexually active than your enemies?
Timothy, don't critically think like that.
You're right, Rebecca. Thank you for bringing me back to God. Wow, Timothy, what a great product that was. Thanks for sharing that.
That was such a nice time talking about these products, Timothy. Yes, that was. I am so glad you brought us back from talking about all of that.
Let's take a quick commercial break again, and when we come back, we'll have another line of wonderful products for you to spend your hard-earned money on to get closer to God.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Timothy Pecker. I've always loved your name. It makes me think of a happy little woodpecker.